All right. Should be live once again. So, interesting week. First week after the draft, after Backlash, and plenty to talk about. So,
I will say more excitement, right? Like I felt like I couldn't wait for SmackDown other than the fact that it was like a Friday.
right.
Not to conflate wanting it to be Friday, but, you know, after WrestleMania, the kind of repetitiveness and all of that.
Yeah.
Waiting for the draft and now being like, okay, like, I want to feel excited. Like, I was very invested. So,
They, like we had been
the
saying.
shows felt different.
Yeah. We'd been saying for a while that kind of everything was on a holding pattern until after the draft and after Backlash, and pretty much that proved to be true. We did have Rey Mysterio in a match, but it was a reasonable. It
wasn't against the same people over.
Yeah, and
over
it wasn't
again.
LWO wasn't anywhere to be seen, and for once, other than a promo.
Yeah.
And Judgment Day, same thing, right? They were present because they were in a.
I think they almost all had like a match that night.
That's true. So the Judgment Day was there, but the Judgment Day also is, but they were also not fighting the LWO, right? And Sammy and Kevin had a match, but it wasn't against the Bloodline. Did the Bloodline have a match? I don't think they did, right? No, because they're on SmackDown now, and then we saw them. Yeah. So again, things are changing. Things are getting interesting again. Hopefully, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping they continue to get to change things up, and we can kind of go do a rundown now.
Yep.
We'll start back on Raw.
So we had Cody Rhodes come out, cut a little promo. They showed, so we had question, right? Like, how are they going to show any footage from the Backlash match? Because Brock was just red, more red than his normal face. And they did cut with black and white footage, which is funny. So, we haven't really experienced back when they would try to cut the blood out of everything. And I heard that they did used to even cut the cameras during the match to black and white if there was blood. So happy to see they don't do that anymore. But that was kind of funny. Looks like there was a bit of a switcheroo going on, that Cody's match was supposed to be first. And then he cuts a little bit of a promo. He starts walking up to the belt, and then Seth's music hits. So it looks like something happened. I never saw any.
Yeah, I never had an explanation for that. It was just a last minute change where, literally some, assistant walked up and said, "Here, hold on, we're changing." So realistically, there just must have been somebody who wasn't they needed 30 minutes or whatever. They couldn't go on first.
So we started out then with Seth, Shinsuke, and Damian Priest.
Yes.
So the triple threat to compete for the title at Night of Champions.
Yep.
Really good match. I think they did a good job.
Of course, yeah.
They made it pretty known early in that Priest wasn't going to win, but they kept referring to he just fought 48 hours ago at Backlash.
Less than 48 hours out from his Backlash. He had to sell that, his leg was still not fully, there. And
he did a good job.
Yep. Damian's very good.
Shinsuke looked great. Seth did a really good job. And Seth, of course, came out the winner. We kind of called that.
Yeah.
But well-deserved.
It's because he made Omos look good.
Yeah. So, kudos to Seth. Next match was Otis versus Mustafa.
Yes, with Chad Gable and Maxine Dupree accompanying Otis.
Yes, and I didn't write it down, which is weird because I wrote every other winner, but Otis lost. Maybe I was sad.
Yeah.
But there was interference, right, between Maxine and Chad.
Not direct interference, but they were distracting him, and Otis couldn't, he's too much of a sim for Maxine, and he doesn't listen to Chad, and
I think at that point he was trying to listen to both, because both of them wanted him to do something that kind of fit there.
So Otis ended up losing. Hopefully they'll do something with that instead of just making it a loss.
Yeah, and now Mustafa's on this winning
weird winning streak.
So he had a little promo backstage because he's got this weird positivity gimmick thing going.
Absolute Ali.
So he was, but it's kind of good, good for him. He's kind of been almost like a jobber, I think, for a while. So get him some wins, make him feel good. Then we finally got our Miz, Finn Balor, and Cody Rhodes match. So
that was interesting.
Good match, good start to the match. Of course, Brock came in to the shock of no one. pulled Cody away from his ability to get the win.
Hit him with the F5.
Yep, F5'd him.
Look at this face.
Yeah, so Finn was able to come out the winner.
Yeah, Finn won.
So he pinned Miz, and Brock cut a pretty
intense
promo.
I shit my pants.
He had a black eye.
A black eye.
He had his stitches. And he screamed directly into the camera as he was cradling Cody's face to look at his face, that he wants a match. Some little kid in the back yelled, "Kill him," for Brock to kill Cody. It was great.
It's just...
And, Brock then set a challenge for Cody to fight him at Night of Champions.
Who's the coward now?
Yes. So, very good, intense promo.
Definitely very good.
I think the intensity of the promo kind of helped because it was kind of like, oh, here's Brock again, right? Like, it's going to mess up Cody's win, and here's everyone who's like, oh, Cody's going to win this one. Yeah,
it was a little too predictable at its surface level, but yeah, I agree. I think the fact that, everyone's expecting Brock to come out, I don't think anyone was expecting that.
Yeah.
So it still worked very well. It was very intense.
Then we had Rhea versus Dana Brooke.
Randomly, everyone's been hashtag give Dana Brooke a chance for weeks.
Against her.
and of course, so it's like literally not like that, because she just got shit on.
And we had kind of like a foreshadowing when Dana got left hanging by a child in the audience.
That's painful to watch.
It's gonna be a good meme. They should use that for her character, and she should be like,
"This is Dana Brooke villain origin story."
Fuck them kids, Dana Brooke. So to no one's shock at all,
Rhea won.
Yes. It was literally like a 0.5-second match.
It was not long. Well, you can't say that after some of the matches we saw on SmackDown. It wasn't that.
Actually, I think it was faster. Oh, no, it wasn't.
No, well, yeah.
It was pretty close.
It was like a probably 90-second match.
So, after she's already had Dana, I forgot, did she win by pinfall or was it submission? I think it was submission, because then she put her back in the submission hold.
Let's see, Rhea. Okay, bell rings, went away. Dana with a drop kick to Rhea. She runs towards Rhea, but Rhea with a headbutt. Right hands by Rhea as she slams Dana face first into the mat. Rhea grabs Dana, but Dana out with a jawbreaker. Dana with a bulldog in the middle of the ring. Dana climbs the second rope, but she jumps up. But Rhea catches her and she slams Dana on her knee. Rhea with a riptide. She grabs Dana in her leg lock.
Yep. So she puts her back into the leg lock right after the match is over. Just asserting her dominance. And Natalia's music hits.
Oh, yeah.
And she's slowly... So first of all, she's wearing heels. So I think the spot was supposed to be that Rhea then lets go of Dana to be like, oh no, Natalia's coming out. But I think Rhea, I keep saying Rhea noticed that she was like struggling to get to the ring. So she kept the hold to like force her to do that like awkward quick walk. Because a lot of people were talking about how it was super awkward.
Yeah.
And it seemed like she was kind of like fucking with Natalya. So I guess it's Natalia's one time to come out and maybe fight at SummerSlam and then disappear again. Boring. She took so long to get to the ring, right? If you're going to come out and try and do something, hustle your ass, get the heels up. Yeah, hustle your ass to the ring. Like,
it was lame. That was worse than the match.
Yeah, you didn't even help Dana at all. She just sat there in pain. So then finally,
it ended up being. It felt like she wasn't even coming out to help Dana. She was just coming out to like
walk,
to just
gotta get my steps in.
Yeah, and then be like, I want a match. But she didn't even say it. No words were spoken.
And then it was just awkward as they just stood there in the ring, and it's like, oh, she saved her, and it's like, did she?
Because she didn't.
And why Natalya and now Rhea? Like, what? What's the build-up? So now we're gonna have to try and build something up. She's not convincing. I think she's great backstage. She's good at helping the young women and getting them a lot of advice and knowledge and helping them with in-ring stuff. But like as a wrestler herself, she should just take a managerial type role and like support backstage. She's boring, slow, and like, what is her gimmick?
Yeah. Man.
I'm part of the Hart family. Cool, great, congratulations.
Yeah. A lot of that around.
So after that awkwardness, Zoe, right, who's been called up from NXT, her first appearance on Raw, she cuts a little promo.
Yeah.
And Nikki Cross is just kind of like
awkwardly
drawing in circles and like talking to herself or something.
Yeah.
So then she like stalks over and then is like, yeah, we're gonna fight because she's weird. And I feel like Zoe should have come out. I know it's too early for her to kind of go against Rhea, but like Rhea. I don't know why I keep doing this.
Just say whatever comes to mind. It doesn't matter.
And like, but you know, you don't have to make it a match. You could just make it like kind of the bubblings of it, and she starts kind of, you know, and then other women get in her way, like, hey, slow your roll there, new girl, right? Like that would have been
rather
more
than
interesting.
Natalia walking out and saying nothing.
And you let someone else kind of go after the championship. You let her start, you know, having women kind of get in her way and have her fight her way up. Instead, she chooses to fight Nikki. So then we cut to KO and Sammy, which they had, that was last week where Imperium was interrupting them with the finger in the face. Yeah.
No, that was just because.
Oh, was it earlier in the night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, my B. So earlier in the night, cut to KO and Sammy chatting. And then Imperium were just kind of like there and interrupted them, just kind of like standing there. So KO is his normal KO self. Can't concentrate with them standing there, keeps bringing attention to it. They have a little back and forth.
They're still there.
Yeah. I can't talk with his finger so close to my, it's so close to my face.
General. He says general so weird. Yeah. That's a quote from Kevin Owens.
Right at the end. That was perfect. Perfectly cut. So, they have a little bit of a match.
Yeah.
KO and Sammy win, because I think it was for the titles?
No, I don't think it was for the title.
I can't remember if it was.
No, I don't think it was a title match.
Okay, it was just a normal match?
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about a title, so it doesn't mention it here.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I have no idea.
I don't think they can just get a title match.
Well, Sammy and KO are allowed to do that too. But you can challenge for a title match.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was nice to get them some screen time while Gunther is on his honeymoon and all of that. So, you know, maybe potential feud there. Get KO and Sammy some other people to fight now that Bloodline is over for them. So the next up was the Zoe and Nikki match. Zoe won. Not really memorable. I don't recall anything really good happening. It was pretty quick too, from what I remember.
It doesn't look like it was that long. Tornado DDT, but Zoe throws her away. Zoe hits her with the Z360, and then she covers for a pin.
Yeah, so I mean, good debut for Zoe.
Yeah, I mean, made Zoe look good. Nikki was her, I guess. Well, I don't even know what's her normal self, right? She's had multiple gimmicks at this point.
Yeah, it's like they did the superhero. They did this weird one already, then superhero. Now I guess we're back to weird. She's someone who's kind of lost with gimmicks, and you know they need to figure out something. So then we cut to Rhea. She has a little bit of a promo, and Xavier Woods comes and interrupts them.
Right.
Kind of starts talking some smack. Dom starts trying to talk some smack back, and Xavier then challenges Dum Dum to a fight, and Rhea accepts for
Dum Dum.
For Dum Dum. Then we cut to a Trish promo with her Becky's missing stuff.
Yeah.
So I had missed it. Apparently on social media they were posting the posters of Becky is missing. She does a nice little heel fake where the music cuts, so you think Becky's coming back, and then Trish acts scared and then starts laughing, calls everyone dumb, goes on her little, rant. And then Becky's music hits again, and she's like, guys, I already did that, ha ha ha.
Then I heard the crowd kind of go crazy.
Yes.
And the camera pans, and then Becky is behind her.
And I will say, Trish did a really good job. So she was facing hard cam, and Becky threw something down, like her jacket or something. So that then cued Trish to turn around, so it wasn't so awkward and
literally it was like she looked down where the jacket kind of would have been thrown and been
and it's like she had the feeling, right, she's got to be behind me, like one of those situations. But I thought it was really well done. It wasn't kind of campy.
They did good. They did that one very well.
But then Becky gets the mic after Trish hightails it out of there.
She says to her, she's like, I'll kick your... No, she did. She's like, I'll kick your ass. and then the mic gets cut, and she like you can see that she's trying to say
Yeah,
more.
and she's like, okay. So they did a really fun backstage thing that happened, like posted on social media, and it was done like immediately after because you can hear the music for I think Xavier Woods.
Yeah, it was literally.
So, like, and she's, who cut my mic? Who cut my promo? And this one guy's like, oh, I'm so sorry, it was an accident. And she, like, smacks him in the chest and he's out cold.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really kind of funny and very quick on the spot to just be like, oh, like, let's do something. Yeah.
Apparently, everyone said that it wasn't like a big thing. They got cut her. It was, and it wasn't intentional. It's just the mic did pretty much just accidentally get cut early.
Yeah.
And so like it wasn't like some big scandal thing. So it's good that they capitalize on that and make some social media post about it.
Yeah. So then we got our Xavier Woods Dom match. Dom won. Obviously, he had some help ringside.
Always.
But I was annoyed. However, I know Dom's already a heel, but I kind of want to see Xavier get like a little bit of
Xavier Woods heel turn. I'm here for the villain origin story.
New Day, right? Kofi's still injured, I believe, and then obviously Big E is,
potentially out forever,
trying to recover, see if he can ever get back in the ring. Unfortunately, so Xavier's kind of on his own, and the New Day just hasn't got anything going for it with just Xavier. So. Potential chance for him to either figure out something kind of new or maybe get a little bit some aggression there, some ruthless aggression. So kind of excited to see what they do with that.
Definitely.
Then we cut to Shinsuke, who's obviously sad because he lost. Miz kind of comes in and he's kind of trying to align them in like a partnership.
Again, he's always bringing it up for a second time.
Yeah, so the Mizsuke
Nakamura
and Shinsuke's like, yeah, sure, me versus you, and he kind of does this little like you can tell he's like just got like a shit-eating grin on, like he's just doing it on purpose, pretending to misunderstand and just be like, yeah, me versus you. So now we've got a match set up. Miz obviously not happy with that. Cody gets a backstage promo and basically accepts Brock's challenge for Night of Champions. And then we get Finn versus Seth. And that was a really good match.
Yeah, always good match.
Did a really good job. There was a couple of times where I thought maybe Finn would get the win, but I was like, in my heart of hearts, I knew it was going to go to Seth, but I was like, oh no, like they could do something here, but Seth ultimately got the win. And that was the end of Raw. So very eventful. It didn't, you had a lot of matches to get through, right? So it never felt rushed. It didn't feel like they were just shoving matches down your throat. It was really well paced for everything that they had to get in there. They struggled a bit on SmackDown, but
SmackDown because it's a 2-hour show, but they had almost just as many matches.
Yeah, so it was a little bit more noticeable there. So then we got Tuesday night NXT.
Yes, NXT.
They're also doing a tournament for the women for the vacant belt. First match was Tiff versus Gigi. Gigi looking slow.
Yeah, very slow.
I've noticed it. So some people are thinking maybe she's fighting injured, but if that's the case, she had a perfect way to get written off screen for a bit with the JC loss, and I'm not really sure, but like she's not seeming compelling.
It's just she literally looks like she's like. There were moves where she like does the spin out of a hold or whatever, and it looks like she's like a 14-year-old girl practicing ballet.
Yeah,
she's
in her room. Yeah, it becomes more noticeable when she's fighting someone like
it's like
when she's fighting someone like Tiff, right? So he's very agile and athletic. So I don't know what's going on there, but I hope they figure it out because I think, we had heard a lot of stuff about Gigi. So coming into NXT, I think we both thought we were going to really like it. And so far, I'm not impressed with her matches and her skill. So hopefully.
Yeah, it's just she leaves a lot to be desired right now. But again, I think it is just her not being as fast as I guess she used to be. So
yeah, so we'll see. We had after that Dyad versus Gallus for the belts. During the match, because Ava kept trying to interfere.
Of course.
Ivy Niles watching backstage with her brothers. I don't know if they consider them her brothers because they are brothers, obviously. Mm-hmm. I don't really know how exactly they align that, but she's their babysitter, it seems.
Yeah.
Or the mom, I don't know. So she comes out and actually attacks Ava during the match.
Yeah.
Gallus gets the win, retains the belt. But that sets up some kind of feud between Ava and Ivy Niles, or a continued feud, but like kind of, maybe they'll actually have a match. My notes here are just Thea is the best. So
Thea is the best. This is true.
There was a little bit of a promo backstage, and she was like mouthing everything Duke was saying. It was
yeah. She smacked what's his face.
Yeah. I forgot his name.
Yeah, and she was just so.
It wasn't Javier. It was someone else, right? Because Duke was fighting Javier, but I don't remember. Maybe it was Javier.
I don't remember who it was. Someone's boyfriend.
So yeah, she was just bringing the energy. Made that promo 20,000 million times better.
Yep.
So then, yeah, I think it was to set up.
No, yeah. It must have been Javier because then they had that match.
Yeah, so it was the Javier Duke match.
Yeah, because Duke comes out.
Yeah.
She got an 88 on her chest.
Yeah.
She was very excited.
And she was killing it ringside during the match.
Oh, of course. Yeah, again, she steals the show when she's not in the match regardless. So
Duke got the win.
Yeah. Duke's very good. Very, very fun to watch. Very, very good wrestler.
My next notes are Mr. Stone, please stop. So there was another promo with Von Wagner and Mr. Stone. I think they were doing like a word association type thing.
Yeah.
And, just going normal. And then he pulls out the picture again.
Hoping to get some more information out of that. Out of Von Wagner, and he just doesn't like it. Some guy shows up to like make fun of him.
Yeah, they were like over in the back. It was a woman and a guy, and I looked up who they were, and now I can't remember. So he starts like kind of joining in on making fun of Von Wagner. The girl gets mad and is like, "Stop!" and then walks away.
And then Von Wagner beats the hell out of him.
Yeah, and then Von Wagner just starts beating the shit out of him, and then says "pistachio" at the end, which is now a meme. I know it was part of the word association, but it's now a meme because everything he says becomes a meme.
I see. Okay, keep that in mind.
Yes. Then we had Eddie Thorpe versus Kemp with his DK outfit on, which I was reading some comments during the match, and then it occurred to me that Kemp is the Olympic wrestler that was introduced to everyone last WrestleMania, and I finally put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, oh, so Eddie won.
Yep.
There was a little bit of a scary botch in that match.
Yeah.
It didn't seem great, right? Like, I don't know enough about Eddie. He seems like he's got at least an interesting aesthetic to him. Kemp obviously was a little boring with his DK onesie.
Singlet.
It's a onesie.
It's a singlet. It's not a onesie.
I know it's a singlet. But yeah, match was whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't even long.
No, it was fine, but
So Kiana cuts a promo,
Yep.
basically putting Valkyria, who was her opponent later for the chance to compete for the title, kind of up, saying that she was unfairly given an opponent that's like super strong, and someone clearly doesn't like her. So it's kind of a good way for a heel to bump up someone and kind of put them over. So nice little quick promo there. Then we had Ilya versus Dijak.
Which was a pretty good match.
Yeah,
that was a good
really
match.
Dijak got himself disqualified because he just started going ham. He pushed the ref. He had the chair.
Yeah. Dijak's nuts. I wish he would commit harder to the 80s action movie bit because
I think he needs to be more campy.
Yeah, because he's in that awkward position where sometimes it just comes off as cringy, whereas if he was to go 100%, it would come off as like, I know what he's doing and therefore it's funny.
Yeah, like he's got to believe that he is truly like
an action.
Otherwise, it does sometimes come off like, bro, like, oh, I'm pissed off, right? Like, and you're just like, okay, like that was our first intro to him.
Right? Yeah, he just, my name is Dijak and I'm pissed off.
And we're just like, what?
All right, sure, dude. It was fun. Like there was nothing like bad about this match. Just that's all I can think of.
Yeah, I mean they're both really great competitors. People love Ilya, and he got crushed by the stairs where you could see he was holding them to make sure they didn't move. But he's like Brock, where his face gets so red that it actually becomes believable sometimes.
Yeah.
When he's getting crushed by objects, but. Interesting end, right? They're really trying to build up this feud and build up that Dijak is like willing to do whatever. So
they're putting a lot into this feud.
Then we had Charlie Dempsey versus Tyler Bate. So the entire time of this match, I am ragging on Charlie, going like, why the hell is he wearing these, like, his outfit's hideous. What, he looks like William Regal. I swear to God, those are William Regal's, like, trunks. Like, what the hell is going on? I am, again, looking through some comments to see other people's ideas of, like, the match. And I see someone saying something like, oh, yeah, it's William Regal's, or, like, the son of William or something. And I was like, what? So I Google it. He is William Regal's son. Jesus Christ.
It's just
the
like,
whole time I'm just like, why is he trying to look like him?
Yeah.
Well,
he's just another person who, when I was looking at him, I was like, there's nothing really interesting going on. He's got weird purple shorts, some goofy boots, and curly hair. And like that's like what is he? What is this guy? And then William Regal. Okay,
we got it. So Charlie won.
Yes.
And Gacy from Dyad came out. So I trying to learn everyone, figure that out. He was the one that Ava, like, he was supposed to help interfere in a previous title or tag match. And Ava had said, like, also do something for yourself. And he said, like, earlier, like, oh, I took your advice. And I guess this was him trying to do something for himself. But
I don't know why it is. We don't know the interconnected webs there.
Whoever won that match, I believe, is going to fight Wesley for the title at Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's now trying to get himself involved in that, and that's what he's doing for himself. Not really sure how that's going. Then we had Josh and Brooks versus Hank and Tank.
Yeah. Which was like a nice, friendly, competitive thing. Like not like a
they had a small little promo, little thing of oh, is her name Dana also?
Danny.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Asking for advice on how she done her first match. Everyone telling her, like, just keep getting in the ring. So Hank and Tank were like, hey, wait, like, hey, let's fight, right? Let's get us some more experience.
Yeah,
so
they asked the other guys they asked Brooks and Josh to just, have a match with them for practice.
Yep.
And that's what it was, and it was good. Obviously Brooks and Josh won.
Tank needs some new clothes. It's just shitty. Also, it's not even really a singlet, but it is like kind of just like a one singlet-esque outfit that just says Tank. Yes. I mean, it's kind of...
I do like Hank and Tank as like a team.
He's Hank, right? Now I'm forgetting who the hell Hank and Tank. I can't remember anymore. In any event, one of them needs a better outfit. And somebody maybe lost a tooth. I could not tell if that was real or not. Wasn't.
He takes
blood?
The tooth out and sticks it in his singlet, and it was like, it looked convincing, but there was also like no blood.
But they didn't really cut to like any like mouth things where I could tell like yes.
Except for while he was taking it.
Yeah, that was the only thing.
There was like no blood at all, so I don't think it was real.
And I was like looking to see if anyone no one barely acknowledged it, and then like I haven't seen anything about it, so maybe they'll bring it up next week.
Yeah, I think it was fake though, because again, like when he was holding the tooth, there was no blood.
But it's like, why would they fake it though?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I guess we'll find out. Then we had Kiana versus Valkyria. So Valkyria won. It was a really good match. Mm-hmm. Both of them are really talented. I really do like Kiana. Like her, based on her personality, like her gimmick, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like this B, right? Like she's just annoying and like I'm a boss babe type attitude. Kind of like preppy, but like her in-ring skill is great.
Yep. And
her physique is really good. So like they were really going at it. A lot of close calls in that match. So I think they did a really good job. So congratulations to Valkyria. She gets to now move on. They had a little pub promo. For Gallus.
The family.
Yeah.
Is that what they're calling themselves? The family?
The family. I don't even know. Our Italian mob bros. They kind of interacted earlier. Or no, they didn't. It was someone else that bothered them while they were talking about going to the pub. So they are at the pub now, getting a pint to celebrate their win, and then the family come in to give them the business. They go in with two guys. First of all, Italians do not travel in pairs of two. If they're going to go confront someone, let's be realistic. Where's their backup? The whole pub is all Scottish people, right? Like, so you're going to walk in there and be like, yo, you want to fight? And then 20 other men stand up and you're like, oh, okay.
And their responses were outnumbered. Like, you knew you were going to go against 3 people.
Yeah.
You were always going to be outnumbered. So why is that a revelation?
Yeah, so obviously they're trying to set up something there.
Yeah, with the budget brawling brutes.
Then we had literally like 3 minutes left for Trick versus Braun. So I forgot SmackDown does run, or NXT does run a little over. So the match actually wound up getting a lot more in than I thought.
Yeah.
It was a good match. I thought they did a good job.
Yep.
Not making Braun seem like way too, like, first you're just like, oh, Trick's gonna get fucked on. So Braun does wind up winning. Mello comes out, and he just immediately gets fucked on. Like, he gets speared out of midair, which was great. I love that spot.
Yeah, that was a good
really
spot.
good. But he didn't even, like, do anything.
Yeah,
so
Mello comes to try to help, and just it's instantly wrecked.
Which I think is good, right?
Yeah.
Because then it takes away from... Because earlier they had a little promo in the barbershop. And Mello didn't really seem convinced that Trick had this. So we weren't really sure, like, is this going to be kind of like a split? And then Trick kind of goes on his own. And they have a little bit of a back and forth. But I think it kind of just sets up that Mello, as much as he is champion, right, still isn't the best.
Right.
You know, and like he has flaws, and Braun can definitely take him out too, where it's not so like, oh, here comes Mello and he saves his friend, and Braun now takes, you know, is out flat on the mat. Like,
yeah,
I think they did a good job kind of keeping it more even.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, and that was the end.
Yeah, that was NXT.
Then we got SmackDown last night. So, to cut time, I think Edge was the only one with an entrance, and that's because we haven't seen him since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Everyone else had their entrance streamed, I think, on social media somewhere, and obviously the audience got to witness that. So, great match.
Solid match.
There was like one odd botch right at the end, so it kind of like made the finish fizzle out a little bit. I don't know if Edge got hurt. I don't know what happened. He clearly was not ready, or Ray mistimed something, so Ray was jumping off the ropes to hit him with, I think it was supposed to be like a crossbody.
Uh-huh.
And instead, it was like Edge was still bent over, and he kind of like hit into him awkwardly. So weird. I really thought Edge was going to win.
I did too. I thought they were going to take the whole, give Edge the title, and then he retire when he loses the title, he retires. That would have been a really cool angle.
And, he just came back, so it's kind of like he has admitted, right? He doesn't have much time left, so I really thought that they were going to get him the win. But AJ won, which I'm still happy with. Yeah,
it was still, anyone could have won. I mean, I would have been the most surprised by Ray winning. Yeah. Obviously.
He's at his time.
Yeah, but any one of those is someone who, deserves...
Yeah.
I
wouldn't be mad at any outcome of that match.
It's just, yeah.
And I think they all did a really good job working in, like, how they all could do things together. Like, they had a lot of spots where all three were involved, doing some fun things, one after the other. Like, this one guy does something, and then this guy jumps in, and then we had the Edge spear from...
the double spear through the ropes on the
outside.
Apron.
Yep. So, a lot of really interesting things. I think all three men did an amazing job in the match. And it was very entertaining, but just... I've been waiting to see if someone's hurt or something happened.
Yeah.
People were worried that Edge got a concussion or something, and I was like, okay, let's chill, but hopefully not. Then we had right into, and again, I think they cut almost everyone's entrance here as well.
Yeah.
Famous Bobby and Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Again, really good match.
Very good. Yep.
And I actually do like Austin Theory as a, like, in-ring wrestling.
Yeah.
His gimmick needs some work, right? Just being
he annoys me.
He toned down, he's feeding on his own hype. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I really think, and the same thing happened to Randy Orton, where he came out and his gimmick was just, I'm cocky.
Yeah.
I'm the cocky young guy. But I do hope that they give him something to go off of, because he is really talented. So really good match. Bobby got cut the fuck open.
Yeah, they slammed him into those steel stairs.
Trying to give Brock a run for his money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit the stairs in an awkward spot. Austin did throw him pretty hard into it.
I saw that and I was like, oh.
I mean, he's a big guy, so Austin may have overestimated, like, how much he needs to toss him. Forgetting probably that Bobby's going to use his own momentum.
Right, Bobby's not going to actually make him physically throw him.
So, he was bloody.
He was down for a while because they had to do what they could, but they did make sure he was all right.
They did a callback to how Austin won the match at Backlash and had Bobby win in the same fashion. So Bobby was the winner.
Yep.
Overall, again, great match. Poor Bobby getting cut open. Grayson then has a little promo. So welcome to SmackDown. He wants to have his talk show spot next Friday, and then talk to whoever was going to win
Yeah.
the final match later on SmackDown.
And Adam Pearce thought it was a great idea.
Yes, Adam Pearce was like, oh, wow, someone who's going to plan matches for me. Thank God. And in promos, right? Like, this man doesn't fill up any time on SmackDown or Raw, apparently, until the last minute. So
it was funny because he also posted on social media right after that. He was like, Bobby Lashley and Seth and AJ are going to be competing for a spot on the Grayson Waller effect next week. You know, conveniently leaving out the fact that they're in fact only competing for a chance at the title.
Good heel, and and he's somebody who's like got that cocky hype attitude, but he does something with that.
Yeah, he actually turns it into something more than just I'm going to beat you.
Yeah, it carries it, right? Like so. And we have your favorite match. So
me.
Corbin versus Grimes.
Oh, fucking God.
So Grimes' debut, right? It got set up last week. This match lasted 6 seconds.
Literally,
I wrote 5. I estimated 5 after it happened, and we actually counted. It was 6 seconds.
From the bell to the pinfall was 6 seconds.
Can you guess who won? Because it wasn't Corbin.
Yeah. Corbin takes the mic. He starts his little mini promo talking mad shit, saying he's going to have him on the ground flat. The bell rings. Grimes runs up, does like a double foot drop kick, and then immediately into a pinfall.
What's it called? Cave-in? Something like that.
I don't know.
It's his finisher. And
okay, it was his finisher.
Yeah.
So he just jumps up, kicks Corbin to the ground.
Get some height on that.
I mean,
very impressive.
Again, he jumped up and like kicked Baron Corbin, who is tall, in the chest.
I don't think we've seen him wrestle at all.
I haven't. No, unless you count the 2K games, in which case I hated him. That's why the first time I was ever rooting for Baron Corbin, so I was disappointed when he lost in 6 seconds.
So, curious to see what they do with that. Like, I feel bad for Corbin.
Pissed off.
But maybe he could go back to like bum ass Corbin again, like I gotta do something for the poor guy. He's floundering. Then we get our Roman Reigns promo. So Reigns is back just in time for our wedding anniversary. I think that was his gift to us. So thank you, Tribal Chief.
Yes, thank you.
It's a 2-year wedding anniversary yesterday, and we were graced by his presence.
Mm-hmm.
So we get all the bloodline, Paul Heyman, all in the ring. Roman starts kind of talking up some stuff, talking about like,
Solo.
what it means to be like a respected champion. And,
right. Solo showed up and Solo, carried.
Yep. So he's gassing up Solo. Solo looks a little conflicted during the whole time. And so Roman mentions like, what's the problem? And he actually says KO and Sami, and Roman's like, haha, look at how focused this guy is, right? Like, you're still focused on them. They're not the problem. And then he turns to, surprise,
your brothers are the problem.
Yeah, Jimmy and Jay.
Tries to demand an apology. He rips into him about dedicating a tag match to him, despite
when he's
the
not
fact,
a tag.
Yeah, despite the fact they have like award-winning tag team champions in their bloodline. And and they also lost, and they lost the title at Backlash or WrestleMania, and
then they lost it again when they re-challenged.
Yeah, so he's going on, and he's like demanding an apology, and Jay the whole time is just very somber, very sullen, not really saying anything. Which I think it's because he was expecting this, he was ready for this, and he knew
he's been in reality this whole time because of Sami.
Yeah. And so Jimmy is like, "This guy serious? He's kidding, right? Like this is a joke, right?" Like, and
Rowan busts out the Joe Pesci.
Oh my God!
Am I a clown?
When he like face pushes Jimmy back, because this whole segment was long.
Yeah.
Which people were saying like is probably why so many other things were so short. But so Jimmy looks like he's almost about to start some shit. Jay steps in and says, "We apologize. We apologize." The audio gets cut for a little bit because there was a "You suck dick" chant.
Yeah, I don't know why they started that. So we don't know what he's. I'm assuming he just said we're sorry at first.
We actually missed what he said when he stepped in.
Yeah.
And then like a couple seconds later he's we apologize and they said if you give us one more chance we'll do it, and then that's when we draw. And I called this too.
Yeah,
I said because Roman starts like his laugh, and he's like, well, yeah, the title's coming back to the bloodline. And I said it's gonna be Solo and Roman. And so then he has Paul Heyman tell him, and there's a typical Paul Heyman fashion. He takes 30 seconds to say, Roman and Solo are going to fight Sammy and Kevin at Night of Champions,
Yep.
which is interesting for a number of reasons. Obviously, KO and Sammy going to Night of Champions is something that a lot of people, including us, thought was never going to happen. So I guess either that big paycheck or there's again the geopolitical consequences of that. We're not going to. We don't
need to get into all of that.
But
so we'll see what happens. Right there, there's still probably an out that maybe something happens to Sammy and Riddle takes his place. But from what I was reading this morning, it sounds like it's something that the Saudis are pushing for. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they want it. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Jimmy and Jay obviously not happy, and there was a backstage segment where they encounter the LWO.
Yeah,
and they're trying to
who were just speaking Spanish.
Yeah, and Jimmy and Jay were getting really angry, and Santos, right, is the one who's like, "This is not our fault. Your tribal jefe doesn't love you anymore." And this is great.
There's actually a really funny picture where somebody put Roman Reigns in a poncho and sombrero with a little mustache, and they're like the tribal jefe. So,
but
possible next gimmick for Roman.
Yeah. No, we know his next gimmick is going to be Romana Reigns.
Romana Reigns.
He's going to take all the women's.
Yeah, so Roman could potentially have 4 belts. And then he was also probably a meme for everyone. He was eyeing up the championship belt, but it also fits. He's not going to walk by that and not look at it, right? Yeah. It's his character, but,
Again, people were saying, honestly, and I agree, giving Roman a belt collector arc would be more interesting than the... I wrestle 3 times a year just so you can hit your imaginary record number that doesn't matter. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Not a single person cares about Roman hitting 1,000 days except for the WWE.
Yeah, because they want their record books updated.
Nobody cares. We're only interested in the matches and the storylines. And I'm sorry, hitting an arbitrary number of days is only it's fine. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But when your method to hitting an arbitrary number of days is to have the guy wrestle 3 times a year and always win, it's not interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's part-time to begin with, but it makes it harder when that was the only belt, right? That this guy is part-time. It'd be like giving Brock a belt.
Right.
And allowing him to show up once or twice a year. Although he seems really this is the most he's wrestled in a while.
Yeah, yeah. Brock Lesnar
seems to be, because he'll flat out refuse matches and opponents.
He knows his worth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
He,
apparently early in his career, what was it? He said when he was in NXT or developmental, I think it was developmental at that point.
Yeah, I don't think when he did.
Yeah.
They might have had NXT.
But when he was in developmental, he was like, "You move me to the main roster or I'm out." And they said, "Yep, okay, you're in the main roster." So he knows his worth and he knows what what he brings to the table. And it's true. I mean, the guy's a beast incarnate.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, Roman versus Roman and Solo versus Sammy and Kevin in Saudi will be interesting. I'm sure they won't, but it would be freaking funny to have Roman with 4 belts.
So I did see, someone was talking about the belt collector arc to say you let him win all the belts and then you just have these tournaments to then fight each belt off of him.
Yeah.
Which one would require Roman to then be more active.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would be down for that.
It would be much more interesting than what we have now. That's what it comes down to.
And you give more people, even though they can only have one winner, right? But it gives more people the opportunity to be in that limelight, to be like, hey, look at this guy who's competing.
Yeah.
Depending on which, what belt it is. But still, right? It gets more people involved. Could be funny. I don't know that they would ever do that, but I would accept it if they did do that.
Yeah,
I think KO would think that was hysterical, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like him personally. I do need him to make a comment though about it. I was waiting to see if there's anything that pops up, we'll
be scouring their social medias for the next few days.
So then we moved into Raquel and Liv versus Dakota and Bailey. So they were fighting. It was a title match. They were. Sorry, I just watched the guy in the mower go down the street. They were defending their titles, right?
Yes.
The match was good. Or I wouldn't say it was a terrible match. It seemed like maybe Dakota actually got hurt. There was a couple of risky spots that they were doing.
Yeah.
But overall, right, really good match. So Io, of course, accompanied them to the ring.
Didn't look super.
Yeah, it was really funny because they had a quick little promo before the match where Bailey's kind of chalking up how she's a great leader, just like Roman, and you see Io rolling her eyes.
She takes the blame. It's my fault that you lost at Backlash. Was it Backlash?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I think I just pushed you too hard before you were ready.
Yeah, and it was funny because she paused when she said pushed you too hard. And it was like, oh, she's like talking about what happened in the match because she wound up getting Io.
Right,
knocked.
yeah, it was her fault.
And
But
she's
not,
like, before you were ready.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, ooh. So
she lost because of Bailey, but not for the reason that Bailey was copying.
So I thought that was a really good, like, subtle thing because, like, at first you think she's admitting that she, did something wrong. So then they come out to the ring, and while they're posing, Io's like rolling her eyes, she's like, Bailey, hey. Like, so I thought that was pretty funny. So Io tries to help and winds up doing almost exactly what Bailey did at Backlash.
But she tries to help because Bailey instructed her to.
Yes.
So Bailey was, and she wasn't like, she was like not super into it at first.
Yeah, she didn't really seem like she wanted to get involved because obviously she knows what happens, right? It doesn't always work out in your favor. And so she's probably at that point more trying to protect Dakota because they still have a good relationship versus her and Bailey. So it winds up going wrong, and Liv and Raquel, of course, retain. And so now it's kind of, sowing more of the, like, what's going to happen to damage control, because clearly we can see the cracks are showing. So curious to see where they go with that, and if they kind of speed it up a little bit, because I think they've been teasing this for a while now, just like Bloodline.
Yeah.
Then we got a nice Pretty Deadly promo, so very happy to see my yes boys. They're filling out some forms, right? It's their first time on SmackDown. They run into the Brawling Brutes and, make a couple of jokes. Sheamus asks them which one is pretty and which one is deadly, which I thought was kind of funny. Because the way he says it is just so, like, almost like deadpan.
Yeah.
Like, he's, like, almost actually asking
which one is pretty
them.
and which one is deadly?
Yeah, like for real, which one, though? Yeah. So that's kind of, shaping up for some kind of back and forth. And then I did see an interesting thing about pairing Pretty Deadly with Austin Theory.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it.
Austin needs something, right? Yeah. Like, so it's possible, right?
I think they're too goofy, though. That's my thing. I think
Austin was really goofy on NXT. Not as a heel, because he was with The Way.
Right.
But you could bring kind of that back. But then it's like, does that then defeat him being a champion?
Yeah, all the years that he's had as not goofy, like, he's been very straight-laced.
But, or you could have him be the straight man in the goofy group.
Yeah, that's true.
So, we'll see. Then we start seeing them set up the ring for Bianca's celebration, which I've heard she's already had like 2. So I'm getting pissed. They're rolling out a red carpet, putting balloons up. She's coming out dancing in a nice little outfit, and I'm like,
I'm checked out because I'm like, I couldn't care.
Yeah,
less.
and I
couldn't give two shits.
So I realized it's her hometown, but like they've already done this apparently before. So I'm like, okay, it's her hometown, like, and she just made the record, right? So that's why they're doing this. So I'm also like, just kind of like, whatever, like, let her talk. I'm assuming, someone's gonna interrupt, but I'm like, whatever. I mean, she doesn't even speak.
She does, not a single word is spoken before Asuka's music hit.
Music hits. She comes down the ring, and holds her hand out. The classic heel versus face, like, shake my hand. Bianca doesn't at first, and then Asuka kind of is like, come on, please.
And she's like, oh, everyone cheer, yeah.
Like, let's do it. So, of course, she falls for it, takes Asuka's hand. Asuka missed the like, perfect. I mean, not a drop went anywhere else but Bianca. Everywhere. Face, neck, like, chest, like...
Straight up, she was the bluest.
Yes, she was the bluest. I've never seen Bianca sell so well.
She sold that miss.
She was screaming.
Yeah. She sold that miss so hard that they then did a backstage promo after where she continued to sell that mist so hard.
And it's really funny because, like, every time she's offered a towel, she throws it. So, like, odd behavior for, the champion babyface that we've been pushed, right? Like Cena.
Villain origin story.
So that's what I was like, man, this would be great. But I think they're trying to really force Asuka to be the heel. But, like, let Bianca turn. That was like a tantrum. That was her having, like, a little fit. You would think that Asuka spit acid in her face. According to Asuka, she put chili, like hot chili in it. That's what she's...
I'm sure,
Yeah, that's what she's trying to sell to, I guess, help the fact that Bianca was overreacting, but it was funny. So we'll see what goes on with that. I really think that they're missing an opportunity to just let her be heel. She needs to drop the title. She hit the record, right? She's not Roman Reigns. They're not going to let her keep having the belt. Like, I think they finally need to give it up. I'm worried that they're going to make Asuka lose again at Night of Champions, just like she lost at WrestleMania. I'm hoping that they will give her the opportunity to get the belt off of Bianca finally, and then maybe she can do a heel turn. Like, maybe this was just the little seeds being sown, but, like, I don't know. Then we got Bobby versus AJ, and there was, like, almost no time left.
Yeah.
We were very worried. Bobby, of course, got cut back open.
Yeah,
surprising no one.
They, like, stitched him up backstage, but it didn't last.
And it's in such an awkward spot that, like, you know it's going to come open.
He had a big bump on his head.
So, they cut to commercial and I guess cleaned him up again, and then he started bleeding again, like, 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
So they, obviously, older men, already fought, getting a little gassed, but I think they did a good job.
fought. Yeah, they had decent matches 90 minutes prior.
Yeah,
like,
it's tough. It's tough for anybody, right? Not just, but they're also right, like in their 40s.
They're in their 40s. Yeah. Great shape, especially Bobby's in phenomenal shape, but he is a big guy too. Though, so that's it's kind of if you're that big, your cardio isn't the best.
Plus, lost like how much blood at that point, that poor man. So
one of the commentators made a joke about 2 pints of blood, and when you give blood they tell you not to do anything strenuous for 24 hours. So
yeah, and I think 2 pints of blood is like 20% of your blood.
Yeah, no, he did not actually lose.
Sorry,
they would not have let him wrestle if he lost 2 pints of blood.
But it's just funny, like imagining Bobby just bleeding out backstage, be like, "Let me back in." So AJ did win.
Yep.
So now we get AJ and Seth at Night of Champions, which will be a really good matchup. I think both would have been really good matchups, but then obviously very different type of matchups.
Yeah.
We got big guy like Bobby versus Seth, and then someone like AJ versus Seth. So no matter how it played out, it was going to be really awesome matchup. So happy to see AJ coming back from an injury and kind of getting back boosted up a bit.
Yeah.
Where he belongs. Curious what they would do if he does win the title. Are they just gonna end the OC, let the OC go with him to Raw? Like, what would they do there? I do have a feeling though that Seth will win.
Yeah, I think Seth's gonna win.
So he's already on Raw, and he really deserves the belt again. So we'll see. Very exciting week.
So so that's the wrap up. So Night of Champions. We're not gonna be able to watch it live, unfortunately, but we'll watch it like the next day, pretty much.
At like 8 a.m. We're up and ready.
So the matches that we know so far are Roman and Solo versus Sami and KO, which I'm predicting will be Sami and KO are going to win, but I don't think it's going to be a clean win. You were talking about that.
Yeah, I think they're going to have Jimmy and Jay come in, try and like redeem themselves and fuck it up for Roman and Solo, and thus then putting them back into the doghouse and like really getting some sort of consequence, right? Like, he didn't kick them out of the bloodline. He just kind of was like, we're going to win and show you up. But how do you make Roman lose cleanly then after that? Or then he has to win, right? So it's either he has to win and have 4 belts, which would be hysterical.
I think it would be funny. I won't be mad if that's what they do, but I don't think that's what they're going to do.
If Triple H is truly in charge, please. But so you can't have him win, and then you can't have him lose cleanly. So you got to figure out something.
So so I'm thinking there's it's going to be a non-clean loss for Roman and Solo. So we also have
AJ and Seth.
AJ and Seth, we think Seth's going to win. It's pure and simple. Cody and Brock, I think, is probably going to be...
It's tough because they let Cody get the win already.
Yeah, Cody just beat him.
Do they do the back and forth and let Brock get a win and then they continue it?
I don't know. Yeah, that was hard to say. I really don't know what they're going to do there. So that one's the biggest mystery.
Yeah, that could go either way for me, right? If you let Cody win, it kind of diminishes the feud.
Yeah.
But do they want the feud to continue, or they want this to be the end of the feud, right?
Right. Yeah. So it really depends on what route they're going to take with it. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. And is it Asuka and Bianca?
I believe so.
Champions. Okay. I hope Asuka wins, but I don't. I would think that it's not like before where like the last match that Bianca had against Io, I was like, "There's no way Io's going to win. They're not going to take the title away from her."
Yeah.
So they might.
Becky and Trish, are they fighting tonight?
I don't know.
I think they are. I lost count of all the other matches now.
Let me see if there's anything confirmed.
Yeah. They were like saying a whole bunch of stuff last night, but I was busy writing some stuff down, so I wasn't paying attention to all the matches that they got going on.
Well, we only have those 3 confirmed.
Okay, all those are the only 3 confirmed.
Yeah, those are
all
the
right.
only. So interesting. Okay.
That's what I guess they wouldn't cut Becky cutting a challenge.
Oh, interesting. Well, okay, so this is take it with a grain of salt. This is according to Dave Meltzer.
Oh.
But the reason that SmackDown wrestlers were included in the tournament for the championship.
Oh yeah, I did tell you about that.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yes.
Where it was due to the WWE's attempt to retain viewership of the May 12th. Yeah, this sounds familiar. Actually.
Yeah, so and he only mentions basketball, but hockey is also going on right now.
Yeah.
So you have 2 bracket type tournaments happening.
Yeah,
at
so
the
they
moment.
wanted to just keep SmackDown viewership up, which whatever, you know.
I mean, a lot of, especially, both Raw and SmackDown, you've got hockey games and basketball games both happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
Are you going to, if your team's out, you might not be as invested to watch what's going on and you could tune into wrestling, but, like, if your team's still in it, I'm sorry, you're probably going to be picking basketball, hockey over wrestling. But I appreciate the effort, and I think it is interesting. So it did come across at first as like, why are you doing this? You said it's for Raw. But look at the people we've got to see compete. You kind of give everyone a chance then, because Roman has had the belt. No one's really had the opportunity.
Yeah.
So
it did let them put on some interesting matches. So.
Also, I did want to bring this up. I actually forgot. Somebody mentioned, I didn't get a chance to verify, that Baron Corbin is the last person to pin Roman Reigns cleanly. So people are wondering if, as a joke, that all of these poor things that are going on to Baron Corbin are because Roman Reigns is pulling the strings in the background to make people forget.
Barry Corbin.
Yeah. So it's oh, he's going against Cameron Grimes, trying to lose in 6 seconds. Do him in, boys.
That's
but
funny.
that is really funny, and I would prefer that being the kayfabe versus poor Baron is just getting shit on for something.
But the problem with that theory is that it would require you to acknowledge that matches are fixed.
Well, they're fixed for this one guy because of Roman. He's got they're pulling strings to get him in a tag match.
No, but what I'm saying is he can't.
He's not. I'm not saying he's fixing them, but he's putting him in positions to lose, right?
That still makes Baron look bad, though. You can't can't argue that Roman does anything to make him lose to Cameron Grimes in 6 seconds without admitting that that Roman just had the match fixed.
Some of his tribal chief power to Cameron Grimes.
Yeah. Okay.
They met on the moon and saw Noam over there with his space station.
Noamdar.
Noamdar.
So. Okay, that's our predictions. We got a recap. I don't think there's anything else to mention for this week, but
nothing I can think of. I think we covered. I was trying to take as good of notes as I could. So
your services are appreciated. So, cool. All right then. That's it for this week. Nice 1 hour right about. So, we'll see you next week. We should be good for next week, right?
Yeah, nothing going on. So.
All right, cool. Peace out, guys.